we thought it was just going to kind of be a sleepy Thanksgiving weekend. We thought that, in Trump world, that it was just going to kind of be, okay, Trump is doing the YMCA dance at Mar-a-Lago. Nothing big, nothing groundbreaking. And oh, no. We are in a brand new world. Some would say a brave new world. Not Huxleyan, but it certainly has some elements of that. Where this weekend, a lot happened. It started on Wednesday evening. President Trump met with Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Facebook, otherwise known as Meta. Then on Friday, President Trump had dinner with Justin Trudeau. All of this, by the way, around his threats of tariffs against Mexico and Canada and China. Turns out the tariff threats have worked, so much so that Justin Trudeau boarded his plane. Well, they don't do Thanksgiving in Canada. Boarded his plane the day after Thanksgiving to come down to basically get on his hands and knees and beg President Trump will not wreck the Canadian economy. It's so funny. Democrats would say time and time again, in order to solve the border crisis, you need a bipartisan border bill. You need James Lankford's border bill. You need a bipartisan consensus. President Trump says, just give me a phone call. You want a multi-billion-dollar border bill? Yeah, that'll help if we do actual targeting of Border Patrol agents, funding on the border. One phone call, one Truth Social post, and President Trump was able to allocate more than any bipartisan border bill possibly would have. Feels like American power is finally being restored to the world. Then, over the weekend, on Saturday evening, President Trump sent yet another shockwave to the system. We already have Pete Hegseth. We have Pam Bondi, who's going to do a great job. We already have Tulsi Gabbard. We already have Bobby Kennedy. We have this all-star team. We have Elon Musk. We have Vivek Ramaswamy. However, there was this open slot of who is going to control the FBI. Now, the FBI, interestingly enough, was actually not chartered by the FBI, even though it was given its name in 1935 by Congress. In 1908, Attorney General Charles Bonaparte created the Bureau of Investigation, otherwise known as the BOI. It was an investigative force within the Department of Justice. Bonaparte hired 34 people, including some former Secret Service members, to work for the agency. In 1935, Congress gave it its current name, the FBI. Now, mind you, the FBI is part of the Department of Justice. It is part of the DOJ. And the FBI's authority comes from congressional statutes, executive orders, and code of federal regulations. So the FBI has always it's not in the Constitution, it is a form of the DOJ. And President Trump sent another shockwave, nominating Kash Patel to lead the FBI. But then the even bigger news, as if it was leading up, Zuckerberg, Trudeau, Kash Patel, and then boom, last night. Despite repeated proclamations, statements, and promises that he would not do this, Joe Biden gave a blanket pardon to his son, Hunter Biden. Now, it wasn't just a pardon for the crimes that he was convicted of. It was a blanket pardon going all the way back to 2014, which interestingly now covers all of the Ukrainian and the Chinese Communist Party activities that the Biden family was involved in. This comes while we're also seeing other left-wing billionaires like Reid Hoffman talking about fleeing the country. If these people did nothing wrong, why are they so worried about the government coming after them? You see, Joe Biden pardoning his son. Again, I'm not going to get too worked up about this. A father should look after his son. Family does come first. But from the presidential standpoint, this is much more about the corruption and the lying and the deception of the president of the United States. Joe Biden all along should have just said, look, I'm going to look very closely at it. If I feel if my son is mistreated, I'm going to pardon him. No, instead, Joe Biden promised to the American people this is not going to happen. No one is above the law, is what he was saying. In fact, that was the whole left-wing talking point, that no one is above the law. In May, have you ruled out a pardon for your son? Play cut 29.
And I am satisfied that I'm not going to do anything. I said I abide by the jury decision, and I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
But let me ask you, will you accept the jury's outcome, their verdict, no matter what it is?
Yes.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes. This nation was founded on the principle there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law. Each of us is equal before the law. The American principle that no one is above the law was reaffirmed. In my administration, no one is above the law.
Breaking news shows the president has discussed pardoning Hunter Biden with some of his closest aides, at least since Hunter Biden's conviction in June. They decided at the time that he'd publicly say he would not pardon him, even though it remained on the table. So basically, we're just going to lie. It is the same cabal that told you the vaccine was safe and effective. The same group of people that told you that you need to have 6 feet of social distancing. The same people that told you these early treatments like ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine were horse paste and was going to kill you. The same people that told you the virus came from some wet market in Wuhan. Same people that told you that Vladimir Putin was going to march through Europe. And he's the new Vladimir Putin, that Ukraine is vital to American national security. The reason Trump won is because we don't trust any of these people. This is Karine Jean-Pierre saying that no one is above the law. Play cut 31.
The president believes no one is above above the law, and the president met the moment talking about how no one is above the law here.
Does the president have any intention of pardoning him?
We've been asked that question multiple times. Our answer stands, which is no.
And they've lied about it repeatedly. You see, the media here doesn't quite understand what's going on here. Let's play cut 8.
Earlier in the evening, the president released a statement reading in part, "There has been an effort to break Hunter, who has been 5.5 years sober, even in the face of unrelenting attacks and selective prosecution. In trying to break Hunter, they've tried to break me, and there's no reason to believe it will stop here. Enough is enough." And just now, Donald Trump posted on his Truth Social account, quote, "Does the pardon given by Joe to Hunter include the J6 hostages who have now been imprisoned for years? Such an abuse and miscarriage of justice."
Don't you just love that they have to read his Truth Social word for word? You could tell they just hate it. They hate it. This does open the door, by the way. It moves the Overton window for President Trump to get very aggressive on pardons out the gate. Now, by the way, he didn't need that kind of signal to do that. But the January 6ers need full pardons. And especially any of the nonviolent January 6ers. I mean, you look at Siaka Massaquoi, who just took a step into the Capitol, boom, facing federal prison time. The praying grandmothers that went on Capitol grounds. Not only that, every active investigation surrounding January 6th needs to be dropped, every single one. And also, there's one thing that should be investigated. How many federal agents were there on January 6th, and who planted the pipe bombs? Can we get a pipe bomb investigative czar? Now, I'm not a big fan of special counsels, but can we put Jack Smith on that one? Jack Smith, who planted the pipe bombs? Kamala Harris almost died. You want to talk about a threat to democracy? Imagine if the DNC and the RNC would have blown up on January 6th. That would be a threat to democracy. Who did that? Who planted the pipe bombs? And why has no one been arrested? Why don't we have the cell phone pings to be able to tell who that is? Who is there? The Rising Truth and Reconciliation Commission could look into a lot of these things. Adam Schiff introduced a bill back in 2018 to keep Trump from abusing pardon powers for his family. Where's Adam Schiff now, the new senator from California? Play cut 28.
So the president's pardon of Scooter Libby, Congressman, has inspired you to propose new legislation. What exactly would it do?
What it would do is say that in the event the president pardons anyone in an investigation in which the president is a witness, a subject, or the target, those investigative files will all be turned over to the Congress. The Congress ought to know whether the president is using the pardon power to obstruct justice. The American people have a right to know. I think it is clearly constitutional. It doesn't prohibit him from granting a pardon, even a pardon he shouldn't grant. But it does say that we will be able to at least find out whether the president is using this power to shield himself from liability.
It offers transparency at the very least.
Transparency. I am curious. Our resident historian Blake can do this. Is this the first family presidential pardon in American history? Like immediate father-son, father-daughter. It's not? Okay, there have been others. Oh, Bill Clinton did. I didn't know he pardoned his daughter. I didn't know that. Oh, he pardoned his brother. Okay. Has anyone pardoned their not just their kids? I know that Trump pardoned Jared Kushner's dad. It's interesting. Email us as always, freedom@charliekirk.com, and subscribe to our podcast. And yeah, it was technically Clinton's half-brother, I think was the closest. President Trump, day one, has a mandate to issue mass pardons and commutations across the board. And if you read Joe Biden's description as to why he did this, he says, oh, no one really trusts the Department of Justice. Interesting, Joe Biden. Your Department of Justice is the one that went after Donald Trump to try to throw him in prison for 700 years. You went around saying that nobody is above the law. And again, I mean, a father has to look after his son. I tweeted that immediately. It doesn't get me as fired up on the actual action of doing it. It's a bad look, no doubt. It smells of corruption. Hunter Biden is a stone-cold criminal. But you can't fault a father for looking after his son. You can't. However, you can fault a president for desecrating the office of the presidency. And both those things can mutually be true. Everybody, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the bell. We're doing so much good work here at Turning Point USA. Also, get your tickets to AmFest. That's amfest.com, the biggest party of the year in Phoenix Convention Center. We have Tucker Carlson and really big speakers coming. I'll be there. It's going to be unbelievable. Meet your future husband, future wife. It's going to be great. Amfest.com, amfest.com. Get there. Go get the tickets. It's going to be amazing. And again, please subscribe and hit this bell. We appreciate it. And if you listen to audio podcasts, subscribe to the Charlie Kirk Show podcast. That's Charlie Kirk Show podcast. We won, everybody. We won. I need to get this hat. Daisy, can you get me one of these hats? We won. And if you guys want a limited edition signed MAGA hat right here, last thing I'll say is become a member, members.charliekirk.com, to get a limited edition MAGA hat. We have 5,000 to send out, don't we, Daisy?
Over, like 8,000 now.
We have 8,000 hats I have to sign. 8,000 hats. God bless.